having dry socket? Then don't worry. We are going to cover everything you need to follow after extraction so that you don't develop one of the most painful conditions like dry socket. Just follow these simple tips to avoid any complications. The first thing you need to do is bite on a gauze piece for 30 to 60 minutes, which is placed on the extraction site. Then discard it gently. Now after this, if it is still bleeding from the extraction site like bright red color blood, then bite on an additional fresh gauze piece for 30 more minutes. Repeat as necessary until the area is slightly oozing and blood is dark and clotting. Remember, a little blood and lot of saliva will also look like a lot of blood. But usually it is just a lot of saliva. The goal is to keep blood clot in the socket to prevent bleeding and painful complication known as dry socket. When bleeding persists at home, then place a gauze pad or cold wet tea bag over the area and bite firmly for 30 more minutes. Next is, do not spit and suck through a straw. Spitting or sucking through a straw will dislodge the clot formed at the extraction site and promote bleeding. This can also lead to dry socket and delay healing. Drink water or juice directly from the glass. Do not rinse your mouth and brush vigorously. Avoid vigorous rinsing, brushing or flossing next to the site of extraction for 3 to 7 days, as this can also dislodge the clot from the socket and delay healing. So brush gently and do not swish or spit. Avoid touching your tongue constantly at the extraction site. It is very common to feel uneasy and discomfort at the site of extraction, but you should avoid frequent rubbing with tongue. It can cause clot dislodgement and bleeding too. Next is very important instruction to be followed to prevent dry socket. That is, do not smoke or use tobacco. Avoid smoking or use of tobacco for 24 hours after surgery. The sucking action of smoking a cigarette or pipe can dislodge a blood clot and cause dry socket. This also slows the healing process. Now talking about warm salt water rinse. After the first 24 hours following surgery, rinse gently with warm salt water after every meal. Use about 1 teaspoon of salt per glass of warm water. You can continue this for 1 to 2 weeks. Next thing you should do is rest. Strenuous exercise should be avoided during the first 24 hours. Do not do any excessive mouth movement because physical activity may increase bleeding. Now talking about the food to eat after extraction. Eat soft diet for the first 24 hours after the tooth extraction. Avoid foods that require excessive chewing as it might tear or disrupt the stitches. So you can eat soft foods like scrambled eggs, fruit juice, soup, lentil soup and rice, which is also called as dal khichdi, and yogurt. But here one thing you should remember is to eat these foods lukewarm and not hot. Now for swelling, apply an ice pack. After your tooth extraction, apply ice pack to the facial areas near the extraction site to reduce swelling. You can apply an ice pack to the affected area at 10 minutes intervals for the first 24 hours. Ice constricts the blood vessels, which numbs the pain and relieves inflammation. After 36 hours, ice would no longer be useful in reducing the swelling and heat compression should be used instead. This will help in faster healing. Also, not to forget that your dentist might have prescribed you some antibiotics and painkillers. So make sure to take them as directed and finish a complete dose of antibiotics even if there are no symptoms. Here you should always remember is that post-tooth extraction, the recovery usually takes few days. If any sutures or stitches were placed after the extraction, then they will fall out or dissolve within 7 to 14 days. Many times it may take longer. And for sutures that are non-resorbable, your dentist will schedule a follow-up appointment to remove the stitches. Follow proper aftercare tips to lessen the discomfort, reduce the risk of infection, and speed up the recovery. If you want to know more about dry socket, then we have made a detailed video on it. Check the description box for the video link. Other things that you should avoid after extractions are hot or carbonated drinks and spicy foods. Alright, so that's all for today. Hope you liked our video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.